What's up, guys and gals, and welcome to Veve Vibes. Today is Monday, March 7th at about 7:10 a.m., so starting a little bit later than normal. Well, we actually do have the drop today of the Amazing Spider-Man, which is not the first appearance of Black Widow, but it's the first time I guess she's in her black suit or whatever. Personally, I'm just going to pass on this, like I've said. If you guys also haven't checked out my video, the reason why I kind of came to this conclusion is I did have a recent video that came out, says my 6 must-have resources if you're buying VV comics. Pretty much across the board, a lot of them said like, yeah, it's a cool comic, but it's not like a must-have. I wouldn't personally invest a lot of money into it. If you get it on drop, great, sell it, keep it, do whatever you want to do. But at least when it comes to heavily investing in it in the secondary market, it's pretty much going to be a hard pass for me in the meantime. So, as of right now, let's see if I got this up. Okay, cool. So as of right now, a lot of the top gainers and the top losers sort by actions is just simply not working on ecomi wiki. It sounds like Omi the Clown is aware of this. I let him know last night, so did some other people. But the new ecomi wiki site, according to Omi the Clown, should be up at some point this week. So just the whole look of it could change. There could be some new functions. There could be some different stuff. I have no idea like what's involved with this new change personally, but I'm kind of excited for it. I'm also excited for the top gainers and top losers function to kind of be fixed, and it sounds like he's taking a lot of the feedback that he's gotten from the community over the past few months and might be making some updates, which is pretty cool. So what we're probably going to do is, just because when you do go to my comics, all it does is all comics, all it does is organize it by the most recent ones, and when you do go by like top gainers or top losers, as of right now it seems like it just lists it in alphabetical order, which is not ideal for what we want to do today. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my phone a little bit, but at the same time, I think I'm just going to be looking up, of course, the typical stuff that I think most people want to look up, right? Like the golden moments, lenticular cards, probably Batman, maybe some of the Spider-Mans, as well. In the meantime, while we have this up, so we can still see the percentage of movement for the most part. So as of right now, we have like Lady and the Tramp at 640 right now. I don't think that's an all-time low for Lady and the Tramp. I believe it was like 560 or so. I think it was down here. Yeah, about 560, and then not long ago, before that, it was about 611. Donald Duck and Daisy at 874, man. This is things are getting pretty low, back to where they were, and this is why I've been telling people for the last 2 weeks, just hold your money. I think things are still going to get cheaper. We have R2D2 now at 4K, partner statue pushing, or it's now below 22, C3PO below 2K. I remember C3PO was at 2K, I think 4 or 5 days ago, and the floor got swept because there was about 3 or 4 at about 2K. That floor got swept all the way back up to 2.3. My friend that told me about it was like, hey man, like, wow, they just swept all the C3POs. Do you think they'll ever go back to 2K? I'm like, I think so. Just give it enough time. Things are going pretty low. Everything's getting sold off right now. Avengers logo pushing 800. Wally below 7. Pizza Planet Truck below 9. Elsa at 17. So everything pretty much across the board, all of the golden moments, pretty much day after day or every other day or so, they're going down in the high single digits, so like 9%, 8%, 7%, 10% day over day. And like I said before, for a long time, I do think this entire market as it is right now is pretty much just revolving around MTL for the most part. So until MTL is fully rolled out and we start getting some of these people that are flipping or just taking advantage of the market while they can now, until they're out of the market, I don't think we're going to see significant movement just yet. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the Batmans as well, just kind of starting from the top down, just check them out. In the meantime, as long as this updates time, maybe I need to redo it. Sometimes if you type a little too quickly, it doesn't pick it up. So Batman versus Killer Croc, oof, at 465. I wonder if that's an all-time low, because getting below 500 is pretty rough for Batman versus Killer Croc. And that does seem to be its all-time low. Maybe it almost touched it back here. Yeah, it's 640, but right now Batman versus Killer Croc is at an all-time low. I mean, so is the listings, don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of those were just listings got delisted from the auto delisting feature, and the second this thing starts going up, you will see the total listings start exploding as well for people trying to undercut and get rid of their Batman versus Killer Croc. Becky Cloonan is down quite a bit, so it's down below sub 1300. Darwin Cook, so it doesn't seem like the FE tag is necessarily saving Becky Cloonan. Darwin Cook Batman is now pushing 116. This individual, F.A. Robbins, at 120. Dick Sprang, well below 400 at this point. I remember picking this guy up at sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I remember picking up this Dick Sprang at, geez, like 750, probably a little over a month ago, about a month ago, and now this thing is well below half that. And I think a lot of people like myself are just kind of holding some of these NFTs and just waiting for them to either go back up, or some people are willingly selling it as at a loss and maybe rebuying it as this goes lower. FA Harley Quinn below 450. Batman Who Laughs. I knew it was going to hit this low. I'll have to dig back in some of my old streams and stuff, but I said like 2 or 3 times, I'm like, this thing should not have pumped this high at all whatsoever. It was just artificially pumped. It started running based on the mints of 17,000 mints. Like, there's no way this thing should be more expensive than like Darwin Cook that only has 9,000 mints, or more expensive than the Gary Frank or some of these other like Dick Sprang. Like, it should not be more expensive than those, just based off just strictly mints. And it does have the FA tag, like that is true, but I mean, this thing, in my honest opinion, it could retrace down all the way to 120, in my personal opinion. When it was sitting at about up here, I'm like, this thing could go to like 150, 120, and it could retrace that low if it really wanted to, in my opinion. But I think right now, it's not like, if you wanted to pick one up right now, it's not a terrible time. And honestly, it is probably one of my favorite looking NFTs on the platform. It's the most unique looking Batman by far and away, and I might have to pick some up if it does dip a bit lower in this market. I'll probably buy other stuff first and then Batman, because it would really suck to buy a couple Batman Who Laughs first, and then if I want to buy something really good like a Golden Moment or some lenticular cards and I'm a couple hundred gems short, then we'll know why. Joe Mad, actually seeing a little bit of a rebound. He's still below 1K right now. Chimley Joker, geez, at 700 right now. That is crazy to think about. I remember people have been flipping these a lot for a while. And I remember the most recent one I bought, and I actually had to sell for a loss. I bought one at 1,800. I think I ended up selling at 1,200 to have enough gems to buy extra lenticular cards, and I'm glad I did. I think basically the lenticular cards made up the loss and profit that I had with Jim Lee. Plus, it just gave me more experience just handling the lenticular cards as well. But yeah, I really think Joe Mad, if it really wanted to, and people were in that position, and depending on how hard MTL hits, it could retrace all the way down to 700 if it really wanted to, for the most part. So Jay Lee, we just have a ton of Batmans right now. So, and as of right now, I don't have the time to go through them all. But yeah, Dad Bod Batman is at 435. Batman number 6 is Dad Bod Batman, and then Batman 71 is at 189. Nightwing, we'll cover Nightwing very quickly just for the old school people, the old school collectors. Yeah, times have changed. There was a time where people were trading 2 Todds for a Nightwing back in the day, just because Nightwing had basically a fourth of the mints as Todd McFarlane. But he I think he's starting to hit his bottom. I mean, he could go as low as 1,400, but unlikely. Rizzo below 10K right now. I think the last time he hit below 10K, he actually made a pretty significant rebound in the market. Like sub 10K, yeah, basically right here, he hit sub 10K, actually got pumped back up to almost 12 at one point, but right now he's back down to 10. So again, this one, in my opinion, just looking at the charts, it depends on whether it's going to get hung up in this retest around 8. But again, if it really wanted to, it could hit 6.5, or 7 if it really wanted to at that point. So last but not least, we'll go ahead and look up the Mickey stuff. Daisy Duck at 250. Wow, dude, these lenticulars are really getting sold off. Goofy below 14. Minnie at 250. Donald at 410. Mickey Mouse at 300. Pluto at 450. So again, we're pretty much just looking across the board. It seems like almost across the board, everything is just getting hit. It seems like the lenticular cards are getting hit a little bit harder. Daisy's down 15%. Goofy's 10. Minnie is about 3. Donald is 8. Mickey Mouse is about 11% down. Pluto's 11% down. Seeing a little bit of movement with the altogether now. So the Steamboat Willie is holding strong at 3.3. I did see quite a few listings at 3K, or at least like 30, basically at 3,100, let's just say, because people had it for 3K, but it was 30, 099, whatever. And so yeah, it's altogether now relatively is holding his holding its value. It's still down basically 66% from its all-time high. John T. Jig holding at 400. Happy Whistle at 500. I do think if you guys were kind of up in the air on which one to buy, I'd probably go with the uncommon just because of slightly lower mints, and on top of that, I think the fact for only 20% more you can get Happy Whistle, which I believe Happy Whistle actually ran much higher than 20% of its all-time high comparatively. This was a bit of an anomaly. I'm going to go down here to where the first resistance is, which is 1400. We'll do the same thing with John T. Jig. Again, I do think that run up was just part of the hype. Everyone was just in a super spending mood, and then almost immediately things got sold off. So 1300, first retest is 1100, so it's probably about the same, but in my personal opinion, I'd probably invest in Happy Whistle if you can afford it over John T. Jig, but either one is going to be fantastic in my opinion. So at this point, we'll go ahead, and because the comics are just going to be like so all over the place, I'm actually going to pull this up. Could probably open my phone. We'll go to the market really quick. We got 9 minutes before the market closes, so we'll look at a couple other things in the meantime, as well as comics. I actually forgot to look up Spider-Man's, but since we already have this up, Ben Riley's at 340 right now. So before, there was some Ben Riley's being sold for low 300s. So I've been telling people, like, if you see Ben Riley below 320, 330, it's actually a really good time to pick up, because that's typically the price range where people tend to buy it up, and it does sometimes push up to 360, 370. So there is a bit of margin to be had there. We'll take a look at Ghost Spider really quick at 70 right now. I think that's her all-time low. I don't think she's ever been lower than that. Uncommon hanging out. I've been getting a lot of questions about this one. People ask about Uncommon Spider-Man hanging out, like that one versus the Ben Riley. I think the safer bet is the hanging out, but if you do want to flip quickly, I do think Ben Riley can maybe run up faster, but I do think the hanging out will be more consistent and hold its value a bit harder. Again, just my personal opinion, speculation, not financial advice, all the words, right? And of course, Zombie Hunter Spider-Man chilling at 120. I think he was at 110 not too long ago. I mean, if this guy gets close to 100, I would definitely pick some up. I remember buying these at 270 before I sold quite a few of them closer to 400. I still have a couple left. Like, I think I still have one that I bought for 280, just hanging out in my vault, just because back then just times were different, right? We forgot to actually check Superman. Superman at 2.7k. I kind of actually want to pull it up on the chart really quick, see how much movement it's had in the meantime. I need to hide this so you guys can see it. Superman, all-time high of 8,100. More inclined to take the average, because again, I do think this like whole pricing thing was like an anomaly up here, but I think it's somewhere between, it's probably a little bit closer to 6k, maybe like 6.2 or whatever. I'm looking at this like this small pump here, as well as this resistance as well, so I'm just kind of taking something in the average, like in the middle. But yeah, again, and people said like, hey, can Superman go all the way down to 2k? Unlikely. I think it's more likely to get hung up back here at about this like 2.4, 2.3, 2.2 like range. But if I really wanted to, and again, there are some people that have bought gems off app, I mean, at this point, you could basically buy Superman with $1,500 if you buy your gems off app for half price. You could still sell it for technically $1,800 and make profit, right? At the end of the day, if you're just converting it strictly from dollars to gems, or I should say the gems that you're making back to dollars and stuff like that. So, I mean, that is a possibility, but I think that's such a small, of the overall people that are on Veve, that's such a small fraction of people that actually bought gems off app and are actually taking into consideration that, hey, I only bought these for half price, so I could actually sell my Superman for below the price that I bought it at and still make profit. I doubt a lot of people are thinking that way, but some people could be at the end of the day. All right, we'll try and wrap this up in a couple more minutes. I do want to check out a couple comics really quick, even though they are a pain to kind of like look up in the app. We'll see which ones are kind of just being used up and sold right now. Ultimate Fallout, as long as it's below 100, I think it's good. Yeah, if it's starting to push the low 90s, which I think it was not too long ago, I think that's a fantastic time to pick one up. So for the uncommon, let's check out the ultra rare really quick. Wow, below 800. So it was 900 just a few days ago, but now it's actually below 8. I am going to start investing more into ultra rare comics. I can afford probably 2 or 3 right now if I wanted to, and that's like the higher tier ones. But as of right now, again, I'm just holding off until I can find some until it just gets closer to MTL and there's an announcement. I do think we're going to see a massive dip in the market very temporarily. It could be a few hours, it could be a couple days, but I do think the market will recover extremely quickly after that. Wow, Marvel Spotlight, there's a pretty quick run up here, 309, 315, and then there's a huge jump in the market. But yeah, like, dude, wow, Marvel Spotlight really ran up, the ultra rare version of the comic. I might actually have to buy these ones up at the floor, because there's a big swing, and I do think people will scoop these up in the near future. Look at a couple more comics really quick. You gotta look up Doctor Doom, first appearance of Doctor Doom. I'm just mainly looking at the ultra rares right now, just because that's the stuff I'm mostly interested in. And if you can't afford the secret rares, I do think the ultra rares are the next best thing. 965, and it seems like the Fantastic Four #5 ultra rare, it's really retaining its value around the 1K mark. Ever since it had that crazy run up a couple days ago, and the common version's at 120 as well. We'll look up one more comic, just kind of pick up the next best one that's going to be showing up. And so this is actually the first appearance of Black Widow. So if you guys were kind of curious, the comic we're getting today is not the first appearance of Black Widow. It's kind of the equivalent of Black Widow getting her, like the Spider-Man getting his black symbiote suit. It's kind of the equivalent of Black Widow. It's like the first time she's literally wearing her black suit that makes her Black Widow. So looking at the ultra rare, 217. But if we look at the common, 25 gems for a common. As you can see here, first appearance of Natasha Romanoff, which is the Black Widow. So this is actually the FA of Black Widow. So if you guys are interested in Black Widow, you want to pick up the Tales of Suspense 52, not the current comic, in my opinion. And we'll finish it off with these last two comics. Amazing Spider-Man #1, top tier grill by far, 130 right now on the floor, which actually it's kind of a thin floor before it starts running up to like 140, 150 as well. So look at that, and then we'll also look at Fantastic Four #1, floor at 121. So there's a lot of fantastic commons you can pick up around the 100 gem range, whether it's Ultimate Fallout, any of the Fantastic Fours, or Amazing Spider-Mans, like all around 100 gems for the most part. And we'll finish off with Marvel Comics at 300. I think this thing was at low 300s, like exactly 300 or even 290 just a few days ago. So it's already ran up quite a bit as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. And please, if you guys want to check out my video that I came up with not too long ago, or I released just yesterday, about 6 must-have resources if you're buying comics. I made some great shout-outs to Boodle NFT, Old Rhubarb, Comics and Crypto, Omi the Clown, and Sleeping in Comics. All fantastic resources. If you guys want to break and you guys want to know how I broke each one down, just to watch the video and comment below going forward. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys take care, and I'll catch you next time.